Okay, welcome back to, I guess this time, Trains in Mode 5. Yeah, just came back from a quite long trip, so taking it easy. We're gonna drive some trains. I'm driving on my timetable that I created on the 423, the SPA. So you just search. I already know what I want to play. And yeah, if you're watching this video after the live stream is published, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. Sorry I haven't been uploading for a while. It is because I have been on vacation for over a month. But hey, it's nice to be back. Try cloud level up and let's get going. Where's my music? I do intend to get back into streaming again regularly. This is a bit of a one-off that I haven't been streaming. But that's just, I guess, it. From being on vacation, it's not like I can bring my computer with me. Anyways, I'm playing the S3. Should be not too long, service about 40 minutes, and then I'll drive it back. One thing I kind of wish I'd done differently was to those doors. Can't really see here. But we're gonna set up the outdoor display system. This is really hard to see because I have the time of day 3 mod, but that should now say the appropriate thing. Turn on our safety system, close the doors at the same time. And we see outside it does say S3 mod off. And pedal to the metal. Yeah, so we don't have a lot of time at this station because the trains are coming every 2 minutes, really. And if I made it any longer, the trains behind it wouldn't be able to make it in time for their scheduled arrival time. It's kind of unfortunate, but a small price to pay, I guess. Hopefully the quality of the stream is not too bad. I don't know if it gets out of hand, but this looks relatively okay. I'm going to slow down here. So I don't get automatically braking on the system. You can kind of see that I'm off the curve here. There's a ICE being shunted to the yard. Electricity Express. Yeah. So, about 8 seconds to park this. And we might have it. Oh, did not need to hold the emergency brake there. Well, I'm about that. It's a few meters off the stop mark. It's fine roll within the platform. These guys will just have to walk an extra 5 meters. So a tip when you're playing this sort of, when you're playing my timetable is you can always want to close the doors early so that you can depart right on time and make up for any delays. That should be the S7 all announced. Like into the station, sorry. And you'll see here, there's the Electricity Express. We're kind of following it for the time being. I am leaving the HUD in, just since this route is quite bugged. You know, when I say bugged, I mean half of the safety systems don't actually work. Taking false positives when they really should not be. Which is really annoying, but the best way to get around it is to look at these lights in the top right corner. And if my light is a green one followed by a yellow, then you know that you need to acknowledge it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of examples in this video. It's not live stream. My music is not playing. I don't really understand what's going on here. I'm gonna overrun the station now. Yep. Truly a fantastic play there. I should not have switched to my music. What is this now? Alright, well, if you are in the first wagon, I would advise that you take the last 4 doors to get onto the platform. We'll call it an error in a fault in the braking system, and not... Oh, the music's coming. Sounds like NCS music. This guy's going back to the yard, actually. That's the S4, which drives to Munich during rush hour. And then it splits off at Pasing. Half of it goes towards Acres Clydes or something like that. Down south, and then the other half, I guess the back half goes to the central station. Because there's the shunting IC. I'll be stopped around here. I am going to get hurt sprayed. Yep, it is. That's okay. Freight train, this ICT really should not be sitting here. Typically they'll sit further up, back the other. Intercity express trains. But there wasn't any room while I was working on the map at the time, so... What can you do? Better there than nowhere. Better there than just hanging around on a train platform, I guess. We are 8 seconds late here, so we're going to hope to make up this time by closing the doors very early. So once this reaches around the 2/3 marker, we're going to close the doors. And close. Okay, so we brought it down to a unfortunate 10-second delay, but that's okay. The German train system is not really known for its punctuality, so I always write it off as a disturbance on the tracks, or train fault. You know what I'm saying. Alright, we have a 90 speed restriction coming up in a second there, so we're just gonna ever so slightly bring it down. And our automatic speed surveillance system there is ending soon, so you're gonna have to acknowledge that, or else the train will stop me in its tracks once more. Back up to 100. Full power. Perfect. Oh, there's a 110 coming up. Another IC train. It's always nice driving this during the AM or the PM peak. You always see lots and lots of traffic. If you go too late in the evening or too early in the day, you end up kind of seeing what is basically the original timetable, which is not much. Place. One thing I do want to do is add some freight traffic, just chilling in there. Okay, why are you yelling at me? That's my supervision that has ended. That's alright. I do want to slow down so I can reach that 90 km/h speed limit there. That's coming up in a sec. Yeah, we want to enter the platform with about 60. So I'll bring her down a bit. there's the RE9 or the RE87. Not too sure which one's the two. They're pretty much identical. They're actually not run by the 495, they're run by, I think it's Mirio and Desirio HCs. But this is the closest thing we had to the EMU. Also run by what is it, Arvario? Which used to be Go Ahead Bayern. And like that is a perfect stop. Right on time as well. And this gives us a bit of time to look around. What's this guy doing? What's the name? I did get a bug report at some point saying there's a train that got stuck somewhere, somehow. Was it you? There's an ICE in the central station that would get stuck. I don't see anything stuck, so we'll have to see. I think this guy is waiting for me to pass, because what happens is this section of the track is actually broken and doesn't work. Following along here. Let me just close the doors before I forget. Connecting here to here, this section of track is actually unusable, so this train will have to go here. It's another weird bug in the game, but that was my workaround. Not all things are perfect, you know. Just like we don't have the most accurate trains, some of the tracks, the signaling doesn't work around here, so what can you do? Well, find a little workaround. I'm sure most people haven't noticed it either, so there you go. Not like you can drive that train anyways, it is an AI train after pausing, going westbound. So it's not like the player is getting delayed, it's just an AI train getting slightly delayed. We're speeding a bit, but this upgrade should slow us down a bit. There you go. Bring up power just a tad. This area, so this is the pausing Betriebsbahnhof or Langweg Betriebsbahnhof. And I just shoved in a bunch of these Dostos. Did I actually take them out? I might have deleted that later for performance. Oh no, they're all there. They're all there. We'll take a quick run here. That was, I looked on, I turned on the first break. I looked on Google Earth images, or satellite view. I'd like to not make it late to this one as well. I was looking at Google Earth satellite images, and this was, I think, 2022, 2023, so this was during COVID, end of COVID, when they had lots of the old Dostos, and they were using them. Oh, it's really cool, because there's just so many in there. So even with the emergency brake, we are going to make it just 2 seconds late. And did I overshoot the platform? I did not. What is this? This is horrible. I need to switch this. But yeah, these are all there. They actually look a lot more run down than these. These look like they're in perfect condition. Oh well. I'm working with what I got. And we can leave right on time. Is that an IC1? Yes, it is. Very nice. Howdy, partner. This is probably one of my, I mean, aside from the main area, this is one of, I really like this stretch I am speeding. I really like the stretch of scenery, even though it's really old throughout. Something about these power lines really add to the environment. I noticed all the other places are kind of boring because you don't really have that, I would call it vertical scenery almost. I'll explain because the horizon is pretty flat, but with those power lines I think it's really fascinating. We are coming into the station very hot with 80 kilometers per hour at the platform edge. That should be the Interstate 1296. Correct. That guy's going to Stuttgart. Frankfurt. We are not making it out of this platform at this moment. I placed that, yep. And so, once again, if you're in the first two doors, I would probably recommend that you take the third unless you want to break your ankles. And then use your broken ankles to step back up on the platform. There are no stairs. It is not accessible for those with mobility issues. We are quite early. I did get complaints in the early versions of my timetable that yes, the S-Bahn, whatchamacallit, the S-Bahn services, sorry I'm yawning, I'm tired, the S-Bahn services are a bit too difficult, and that it was almost impossible to catch up. Well, I fixed that, as you can see. Now I'm way too early. I'm also just speeding and putting max brakes, so it's not exactly the most smooth driving, but I don't think these commuter trains ever were meant for smooth driving. And we are 106 kilometers per hour, bringing up to 120. That's a pretty long stretch of track here between the next station of Bovenstedt. Just going minimum power and coast down. We have 0.4% downgrade, so that should help us. Maybe this time we'll try and not overshoot the station or flat one more time. For some reason, Instagram has decided to change my font to Comic Sans, but only when I type and the chat is on it. It's going to bother me. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh. Get off the platform edge, please. Thank you. 30 seconds to do the 100 meters. Even if I overshoot, I can just go all the way back. I'm gonna overshoot him. I think that's exactly 30. Come on, slow down. Alright, we got a few seconds here. I could just spectate a bit on from the outside. First door did make it onto the platform, so it's very better than last time. And we'll get a nice outdoor camera view of the train departing the station. lock the doors. We have 12 seconds. Gives us time to get us set up and off power. Four seconds. And let's go. Not bad, not bad. I always love the sound of this thing. It's not even like the most accurate. There's a sound mod out there which I would definitely recommend. Not sure who it is, but I think it's probably. Some of the creators out there in the transit community, they do a good job. And yeah. Right now there's thunder and lightning out in where I'm out at in Canada. It's unpleasant weather. This is the tangent up here, coming up to Munich North. Munich North, a freight yard. One of the big 2 or 3. Big 3 freight yards in the Munich area. So the freight trains don't have to pass through downtown. Although once they go down to Munich South or Munich East, then they do actually have to go all the way down to the Lime and then around the Ostring. Oh, we're gonna miss this. I'm too fast. I'll hit the emergency brake. Sorry guys, there's a little jolt. There we go. Beautiful. We can release that, release our brakes, let them recharge a bit. How was everyone's day today? No one do anything interesting? I had plans to do work and to, you know, do some receipts and taxes and shit. And, well, I stayed in bed, watched YouTube. Then I walked my dog for about 45 minutes. And then I went right back to bed. And I woke up around 5. What did I have for dinner? I had some cold, refrigerated pasta for dinner. It was good though, I had salmon in it. And then I was gonna go to a volleyball thing, but no one showed up. It was thundering and pouring rain, so I don't blame them. So I went back home, and I was gonna take another nap, but I decided, you know what, I kinda wanna throw a train. You know what, I kinda wanna share this with people. So here we are. Next up is Esting. Esting always gets me. I am too far on brakes. This is when I'm not paying attention. One reason why it gets me is it's because it's only like 1 kilometer away from the previous platform, so by the time you reach max speed, you're already halfway through and then you need to go back to full braking, which is like subpar for someone who likes to go max speed. One more thing you have to note when you're trying to time yourself with these timings is the AI does not follow using any safety systems. The AI has predefined acceleration, deceleration rates. And so, for example, if you're going to be in the Stammstrecke, so the high density line between Munich Pasing and Munich Ostbahnhof, or in the game just simply Munich Hackerbrücke, the AI actually doesn't care about. Slightly distracted there. The AI does not care about how close the next train is, it just looks at the traffic light, the signals. And so the outset fee that you could otherwise have as a player is not taken account. It's not accounted for by the AI. And what that means is, unfortunately, the LZB is. I think that one is fine. The next one is bugged. I'm just trying to think about the signals here. There's a signal that's bugged coming up. The LZB breaks down earlier than you would without, because it's like kind of meant for slow braking on the mainline. It's very gradual as you approach red light, unlike just a regular P set B. What's wrong? Unlike P set B, where you just have like 2 speed limits to meet. So you have to 85 kilometers per hour the first time out for 1,000 hertz magnet within, what is it, like 23 seconds or something like that. And then there's the 500 hertz magnet where you have to be below 45 within 500 meters. Slightly overshot this platform. Well, overshot the stop marker. First door still on the platform. I just want to see if that light is green. Nope, it's red. Yeah, I don't really know where this is going with that, but Munich Hauptbahnhof is always very busy, always lots going on. Maybe we can do some train spotting there. Close the door, I would have missed my next stop because of the broken. So this one is going to give me a false positive, unfortunately. It's going to give me 1,000 hertz because the next one is an amber light, but the system doesn't really. The system is broken. Overall, it's just what we say. So I'm going to have to acknowledge this one for some reason. So we're capped off at 85 kilometers per hour. We're just going to go 80 and keep that little buffer. Realistically, I should be able to accelerate to 120, and the AI does accelerate until 120 here. So because of that, we're going to be late to the platform. So we have the amber light there, and that's that kind of green light, false positive before the amber or yellow. And in traffic engineering we call them amber lights, but I'm not too sure what they are in railway. So it doesn't even have a magnet, so I just put pedal to the metal for a bit. See if we can catch up on lost time. Alright, so here's our yellow. We're going to bring it down to 85. We're going to have to bring it down to 65 soon before we can get the 500 hertz magnet, because we are approaching a red signal. We're approaching a red signal because we are entering a single track area. The operations here function that we arrive at the same time as, or just a tad earlier than the opposing train that's on the single track, so we do have to wait 30 seconds or so. So not too long. I don't remember what we're meant to be anyways. That's not the 500 hertz magnet, but this one is. We are below 65, so we are okay. We do want to get to below 45. I'm trying to hit this stop marker because people aren't going to this. Let's reduce the overall distance. Open the doors, and now we wait 2 minutes for the next train to come. Scheduled departure time is 8:10. And we won't see the train here for a while, but if we go into our map, you'll see it coming already. PS3 towards our excursion. I have a time of day mod which changes the lighting, so unfortunately you can't see the departure boards at all. There's a way to like kind of see it. No, it's very dipped out. Can I turn on the lights? Yes. We're just gonna wait here. Why are you here? I think they heard me. Probably shouldn't be walking that close to the platform metro. There she is. I would like to fix this so that this actually turns green once this train is passed. I think the best way of doing that would be setting up dependency for the trains. It's just a bit of a hassle to set up dependency for every 20 minutes over a 24-hour period. It ends up being 24, 48, 72 dependencies, 72 drag and drop things I have to do. Anyways, that's going to turn green now. Release the brakes. Put pedal not to the metal. Or lever to the, I want to say haven to the table. Move. You want to watch out for the 25. I've been burned here before. Don't want it to happen again. We have to wait until we pass the signal. The 500 hertz of vision is going to disappear on us, and then we are then good to go. So clear, full release, and full power. You can release when you have a visual of 500 meters. You don't see any trains, and the signal is green. Just express 8-car unit. Headed towards Munich. I always find this little segment of track very interesting. I don't think I've ever driven on it in this game, maybe as like a custom scenario, but it's from Maisach, and I guess it's if you're going to the regional tracks of Mammendorf, or if you're coming from Mammendorf, the regional tracks, and you're going to Maisach. I don't understand why anyone would use those. There's no train lines that go along. I guess if the S-Bahn was like for some reason was extended to Augsburg. Maybe? 600 meters, we are on an incline, so you don't have to go too hard on the brake because the incline helps as well. We're dropping the speed quite fast. Have to be careful though, because the other side of the platform is on the decline. I would just go there. go. We do have 10-second delays because of our 25km/h supervision earlier at Misa. But that's should not be too bad. We can catch that up here. We can catch up about 6 seconds of it by closing the doors just a little early. That's one thing the AI doesn't do. The AI can't close the doors early. The AI will close the doors only once the bar is complete. I did it just a second too early, which is highly unfortunate. And now we lost any kind of progress we were trying to make. And full power. Alright, and so we are approaching our final destination on this S1 S3, and that would be Mammendorf. We are going to get hit with a yellow light and on the way in, because there's an 80km/h supervision. I guess we can acknowledge this guy too. So down to 85 we go. There we go. We're down to 78 to 80, close enough. We'll just keep cruising a bit. Still a ways to go. We will arrive with about a minute delay due to this early magnet. But again, it's not horrible. There's a turnaround time of about 12 minutes, I think, or 8 minutes. At Mammendorf, the trains were turning the other direction, so nothing that needs to be worried about too much. That light does not exist. It's actually what you see up here in the top right corner of this yellow. That's the storage track for the S-Bahn. Typically overnight, I believe. At least it's where I have them stored overnight. I didn't want to keep them all kind of stored in memory. I wanted to have some rolling stock around overnight, and I think that it should be pretty accurate based off of what I saw on Google Images. Here comes a regional train in the other direction. Maybe we can hop in that if it's going to the other platform. Yeah, I think we should do that. Oh, we could take the regional train back. I don't really like driving the full length on the regional train. I'm just gonna quickly turn on my max speed crouched. Close the doors. We'll run out. How do I get to the other platform again? We'll return to free roam. Is there a way? There must be a way, but I'm too late to find it out right now. I want to catch this guy and head back to the pick. Move. Go. This guy's lights are currently on. Excuse me, boss. I'll be taking over from here. Lock the doors. Marker lights are on, passenger lights are on. this on. Hello? Okay, for some reason the directional switch was not in, even though the guy was literally driving, so I guess he put it into neutral. Limit just on the switch here, because it is a bit of a bumpy switch. The reason why I have this go via is so that the trains can figure out whether they are going to be held up by an ICE train, a high-speed train that's on the high-speed tracks, or on the newer, higher speed tracks. I won't call them high speed, it's 200 kilometers per hour. And so that's basically there as a okay, we've made it moment. The trains are also limited to 140 in the game. You'll notice in the original timetable if you play any of the regional services using the BR425, which is the train that I'm currently driving, you'll see a speed limit of 160. This train you can only actually go 160 if you have the LSET on, but actually DTG to even build that in. The switch is there, but you can't turn it off. And that's probably because the map that it was built for, which is Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr, I believe, HRR, it doesn't have any LSET on it. So I guess they just didn't feel the need to build the functionality into the train since the map it was designed for wouldn't have used it. So when you're not under LZP, you're limited to 140. I think it's posted somewhere here. 140. Not sure why. I can turn my head like an owl. I've heard some comments, or I've read comments. Hard to do that. I've read comments asking for me to switch this train out with the Bremen Oldenburg Regio trains. Regio. I could. I think that would require me purchasing a new DLC, which I don't know. And this is freeware, so I don't really have the incentive to buy a $50, $40 map, which I won't even play myself, to be honest. I don't play this game that often. I'll have to find it. Alas. Alright, we make our way along. I got some matcha. I can make some matcha drink today. I need a matcha whisk actually. That's one thing I wanted to order off of Amazon today. Completely unrelated. If you guys do have any games you're interested in me playing or any maps on this game or anything, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm always down to do new things. I did record a City Skylines video. I haven't gone to editing it yet. I think it's going to be a bit longer before it comes out. My goal was to make kind of a time lapse of my build. Since the stream didn't perform too well, I thought maybe a time lapse would be more interesting and appeal to lower attention spans. Green light, I guess that's my S3 coming back. to Holzkirchen, they have a green light on the high-speed tracks, but on our top right HUD, we see that we have green all the way through. So hopefully we don't hold up any intercity train. We just run through. No, we're good. There's no intercity express in a while. We are getting restricted 200 kilometers per hour shortly. There is the speed restriction indication, or warning, whatever you want to call it. I've noticed sometimes the freight trains will take you up onto this track. You're going to the mains area. I'm not really too sure which one actually gets used in reality. I think it's like a 50-50. But both switches can be crossed at 100 kilometers per hour, which is quite fascinating. But since this was the switch that was used in the original timetable, I just used it again. I did see one video where they used the switch, that was the RE9 from Arverio. They used the switch that we're just about to cross here, so should not be too inaccurate. I should check my Discord. See if I got any messages. I'll hop on some Overwatch later, actually. If anyone's interested in watching that. I'm not good in any sense. I'm really bad. But hey, why not? I should be going a bit faster than this. We have just over 6 minutes to get to Munich Pasing, 10 kilometers. If we did 120 all the way, it would take 5 minutes. So we are on track to get there on time. There's no need to rush. I can honestly just coast for a while. I'll coast on minimum power. We will get a downgrade soon, I believe, 0.4%. Here's the Alza B section, where this train could go up to 160 for a brief period of time. But, again, the feature's not there. I wonder if it is there in the Bremen-Oldenburg form. Do you guys know? Does anyone know if the Bremen-Oldenburg 425 BR 425 Baureihe 425 has LZB functionality? Because if I can find a repaint for it and then use it, then I think that would be okay. Because my biggest issue with the Bremen-Oldenburg one is not only I have to pay, you know, $40, $50 for DLC, but the stickers on the side of the train are wrong. It's like I think it's not there or something. Whereas this one is actually quite accurate. It's IGODB, yeah, this used to be IGODB. I have someone working on the skin for this. I wonder if someone's done it actually. Six kilometers, 4 minutes. Should only take us about 3.5. That gives us some time to decelerate. We should be quite on the dot for time coming up to Pasing. One of the most annoying things in the creation of this timetable was, in fact, the shunting and all the yard movements and everything. Man, there's so much that is not available. Like, so much data that is unavailable, that is hidden. got sidetracked again. We do have a speed limit of 130 coming up in about 2 kilometers. Assuming every light is spaced out at 1 kilometer now in this section of track, which seems accurate based off the scale on the top right corner. Here comes an intercity express from the other direction. Wonder where he's going. This time, probably Berlin. Never hurts to check. Hamburg. Close, but no cigar. There's an RB66 getting shunted to the yard. It's going to Pasing. Betriebsbahnhof. And now we're just going to zero power it all the way into the platform. The marker does say end of platform, but really we're going to stop under the canopy of the platform because there's no point in making people walk 200 meters to the edge of the platform. There's the RE96 or 72 go-ahead livery headed towards, what is it, Lindau? It's been a while. Where are you going? RE72. It's going somewhere, that's for sure. Not Buchloe. Memmingen, perchance. Doesn't matter, here's the canopy. We're going to aim to stop at the shadow. I think there's usually other stop markers here. But there's no point in stopping all the way there. We would be making people walk way too far. And the game will let us stop here. Like, the access point to this platform is here. There's no further access, so we'd be making people walk all the way over here, which is a bit ridiculous if you ask me. Let's take a little break. We'll stretch out our legs. Platform. There goes the S4, it's auditing. There goes the S6, I think. S3 Holzkirchen. I guess that's the one before the one that we were driving. So we've caught up 20 minutes, I guess, worth of operation schedule. We have a rail pool Vectron coming in, carrying some oil. So have another 30 seconds before we can go. Honestly, the game should let you sit down on benches, not just the ones in the train, but I guess this is an old map. Would be very high expectations. Let's hop in. Our departure time is in 8 seconds. This departure time was kind of arbitrary. There aren't any posted departure times on the DB website for mentioned pausing for the regional trains along this track. The posted times are basically the same as the departure times are the same as the arrival times, so there's no specifics, they don't give seconds. So I kind of assumed a 30 second thing. Anyways. Final stretch, looking at 9 kilometers until the 6 kilometers? Around 6 kilometers until the Hauptbahnhof. I went to Japan and I was actually very impressed by their transportation system. One thing though, I don't know if it's a hot take, I don't think that their Shinkansen is that impressive. I mean, the punctuality of it, yes, absolutely phenomenal. Very impressive how they managed to get it down to the second, and with their frequencies and the expansive network. But regarding the trains themselves, I mean, I've taken the IC3 to Nuremberg from Munich, same speed. Actually, I think the IC went 300 kilometers per hour. The Shinkansen I was on only did 280. Very smooth ride, I'll give it that, but it's not, dead quiet in the cabin. There's some noise as it should be expected. I think people over-glorify the Shinkansen a bit, but I do have to say, punctuality is highly impressive, but that comes down to the rigorous training of the conductors. Here's the branch off down to something, not what that's on, Vegas coins. Here comes a false positive. We have green before yellow, so we can acknowledge this. Yep. We're going to go down to 85. Here comes the S20. Look at that. You very rarely see her in this corner while you're driving. I need to slow down faster. RB66 or RB6 towards... Is that the one towards Lindheim? You're gonna have to forgive me. I think it is. Because we also have the... Lindau. There's Memmingen, there's Buchloe. Those are the electric trains. Looks like we do have a red light coming into Munich, and that's likely because our platform is occupied at the moment. We are 3 minutes early. We'll have to do a quick check on the minimap to make sure that nothing's stuck, and light has gone green just as we crossed over the active 500 hertz range. So I'll be restricted to 40 kilometers per hour as we cross this green signal. But that should be okay. 40 minutes, 1.5 kilometers. That should actually take about 2.5 minutes or so at the speed. And then we'll wrap up the stream there. Again, if you have enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the live stream, please leave a like. It means a lot to me. Lets me know I guess, see your support. Subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. Well, subscribe if you want to get updated about when I post. I appreciate you guys for watching, spending the time listening to me talk about random train-related stuff. And non-train related stuff. Like I'm driving with stores with a visual button. Not sure why we're listening to EDM at this point. So we're gonna switch over to the next stream. Something a bit more mellow. Maybe we can just listen to something mellow as we enter the platform here. We have a Eurocity, we have the Flirt there, that should be, I think, a Kiss actually heading to, or Flirt 3 heading to Wien? No. Rosenheim, at least. It should go to Rosenheim. What else do we have here? ICT. This is a big guy. It's a sandwich with the towers on both sides. A bit faster here. IC3 de l'Attraction, IC1. Another regional train to Augsburg. Another ICE. Maybe we can do a quick. It's a double. Oh, it is a double ICT. There's the Alex. Didn't see you. Welcome. RB6, 66. This is the 96. RE96. No. Yes. RE72, sorry. And these are the 55, 56, 57 from the Bayern Regionbahn. BRB. Slower down. Last 70 meters or so. Honk the horn. I don't think the people inside the train station would appreciate that. Just imagine the echo and reverb inside this huge hall. If every train honked their horn as they entered, it would be deafening. This is the Alex. Worked on this livery. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. I really like the Eurothermal ones. Those ones I did by hand. With Microsoft Paint, believe it or not. Another gray Alex, and then there's the classic Alex here. So what's going on with the lighting? This is a replacement for the Eurocity Express, which is usually, I think, an ATR 120. Is that the train model? But we have it running as an ICT here because we don't have, obviously, that Swiss version. Here is an RE4. This guy comes from Marktschwaben, past to, I believe, Mülheim. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We're going to close these doors now. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more, again, leave a like. Appreciate your support. And I guess we'll see you guys in the next stream. Bit of streaming, speeding. We didn't get the full points because we started our service halfway through. Not our finest drive, I'll have to say. But overall, not too many penalties. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.